This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop on research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared by students, faculty, alumni, and other members of the USC community.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Viterbi Voices. As usual, I am one of your hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma, Executive Director of Undergraduate Admission here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
And hello, everybody. I'm your other co-host, Maya Neuenschwander, current rising senior studying Industrial and Systems Engineering.
And Maya, we should tell everybody that the audio is a little bit different because you're currently at work recording the podcast, and so we're going to try to make this quick. But we don't have. But you're kind of on the clock right now, right?
So I'm technically off the clock right now, but I did not have time to make it home for recording this, so just figured I would stay at work and do it here.
No problem. So this is your last week in your internship before you come back to campus.
Yeah, this is my last day in person, actually. So a lot of exciting things, a pretty busy day, packed with meetings. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm fly back to LA tomorrow, actually.
All right. Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're excited to have you back. This is an exciting week. All the new students already moved in this week. We had a reception yesterday and got to see a lot of them. Got to see a lot of their parents at a parents' reception with the dean. Yesterday afternoon, which was lots of fun. And so if we have any listeners out there, thanks for joining us. That was lots of fun. And we are now, this is scary. We're officially out of summer. It's all fall all the time now. It's really, really weird. I can't believe summer's over.
So I will say it doesn't always feel like that in Los Angeles. It's a nice year-round, pretty warm, moderate.
This is true. I should say it's fall, but it's still, it's still 80 degrees. I mean, it's not like fall, like I guess the classic definition of fall and leaves and, pumpkin spice lattes, although there are plenty of those everywhere.
I cannot wait. Pumpkin cold foam. That's my thing.
Pumpkin cold foam. Okay. Well, when do they release? Is that soon?
Oh, gosh, I feel like sooner than you'd expect. Probably end of August, I think.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's dive into this. What is this episode all about, Maya?
Yeah, so this episode is an interview with one of my good friends, Tad. We actually first got to know each other because we were in an industrial engineering course together. A couple of different engineering majors take engineering economy. So we were in a group and got to be friends. We actually had a mutual friend with Natalie, who's an ex-VSA. So Tad studied civil engineering in his undergrad, and then he graduated last year, actually, but he will still be there this year. He's doing his progressive degree program, so getting his master's this year in environmental engineering. So we talked a lot about his experience in both of those majors, what he's interested in, what he's done for work. He's also in Colorado this summer. So talked a little bit about his mountain climbing, mountaineering, everything that has to do with that.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's get out of the way and hand it right back over to you to talk to Tad about his experiences specifically here in this fifth year progressive degree program.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Viterbi Voices podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Maya Neuenschwander. Currently studying Industrial and Systems Engineering at USC. I'll be a senior this year. Woohoo, almost done. And I'm here today with a very special guest. For context as well, I've been seeing this guest a little bit this summer. We're working in the same state doing our internships. Had a couple classes together way back when, engineering economy, woohoo. But Tad, would you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much, Maya, for inviting me to be here. My name is Tad Long. I am now a graduate student, actually. I just got my bachelor's at USC in civil engineering and now continuing to do a PDP in environmental engineering. I'm originally from Ridgefield, Connecticut, and currently, like Maya mentioned a little bit, I'm working in Colorado Springs, doing water and wastewater civil engineering internship with Kimley Horn. Outside of engineering, outside of Kimley Horn, USC, I really enjoy outdoor activities. I do a lot of rock climbing, hiking, camping, backpacking. I've done 3 14ers so far this summer, and my goal is to do 10 this summer. I have about a month-ish left, so gotta really pick up the pace, but the snow's melting soon, so hopefully I can do a lot more this last month. I also enjoy working on sketching color art projects, digital art projects. And yeah, just really enjoy hanging out with my friends and being here in Colorado with a lot of other people at USC, including Maya. So yeah, anything else you'd like me to mention?
No, but there are like a billion follow-up questions I have. So first off, isn't
Oh
it
yeah.
crazy, like the first time introducing yourself as like, I don't know, for me a senior, but for you a graduate student, like it just
I
feels
know.
weird.
It feels like a dream. Like did I really graduate in May? Like I feel like I'm in college forever. But yeah, I know. That was one of the first times where I was like, wait, I'm actually a graduate now. I'm a graduate student. I
Yeah.
received a degree already at USC. So yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, you're an alumni now. This can be like
Oh
a
God, don't get me started. Don't get me
alumni
started.
episode. And also, I had no idea you were planning to do, or actually, first, before we get into it, for the listeners who don't know, would you mind explaining quickly what a PDP is, what that stands for?
Absolutely. So PDP stands for Progressive Degree Program. It's a really cool program that USC offers for undergraduate students. If you want to continue to do a master's at USC, you can apply for called a progressive degree program. And basically, it's a master's program, but typically much shorter than most master's programs. So my PDP in environmental engineering is 20 credits. I can complete that all in 1 year, and some students I know can just do the PDP all, excuse me, in one semester. They can take some graduate courses in their junior or senior year, and then graduate with a master's in 4.5 years, and in some cases 4 years. So it's a pretty cool program that USC has to offer, and yeah, I'm excited to do that program in environmental engineering next year.
So yeah, I feel like PDP is a cheat code at USC. Like it's just, I don't know, people can do degrees, and for you, I know you're doing a degree in a different thing than you did your bachelor's degree in. So the question would be, did you always know that you wanted to do a master's in environmental engineering, or what did that decision look like?
Yeah, so when I came into USC as an undergrad, I had a civil engineering bachelor's, but an environmental emphasis. So I always wanted to do something with environmental engineering or like something in the environmental field of my degree. But I just felt that the civil environmental program was not what I expected at first. I wanted to learn more about like structures and foundations and buildings and engineering. But honestly, like halfway through my undergraduate studies, I realized, I kind of miss learning about, environmental work. I miss learning about like water treatment, air quality, water quality, that kind of deal. So I ended up switching my emphasis in civil engineering, I think 3 times throughout my undergraduate career. None of those were environmental, but I knew in the back of my mind that at the end of the day, I'm passionate about environmental engineering. I'm really passionate about designing sustainable solutions and putting my degree towards, designing a sustainable future in buildings, energy systems, transportation, that kind of deal. So I applied for the environmental PDP my junior year, and that's what I'm looking forward to continuing this coming year at USC. So going to learn a lot about treating water quality practices, air quality, energy, that kind of deal. So yeah, basically long story short was I've always wanted to do it. For some reason I switched out throughout my during my bachelor's, but then I knew that I could come back and do it again as a master's. So I'm really excited that I can, hopefully after these 5 years, I could have a degree both in civil and environmental engineering.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty cool. Like just doing both, being able to do both in the future. I feel like that opens up a lot of doors as far as what you want to do for work, or even like switching between civil and environmental. So when you were in your undergrad as a civil engineer, were you still involved in some environmental activities or like things that would relate to environmental engineering?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess kind of related to environmental engineering was I was part of the environmental student assembly for 3 years. I did a lot of public relations stuff, a lot of graphic design for the club. It was really cool to be part of an organization that took sustainability on campus so seriously. And we had a lot of really cool events to promote sustainability, whether it was a vegetarian vegan food truck festival, or bring in a very important, very cool speaker every year for Earth Month in April. It was a really cool organization to be a part of for 3 years at USC. And then a little less related to environmental and engineering side is SC Outfitters. I've been a guide there for 2 years, gonna do my third year there. I was the social media director last year. I'm the gear director this coming year. And yeah, just really showing other students at USC an activity or activities I really love, but also adding on, that extra component of, the environment and nature, and how it's really important that we all take our turn, take our part in preserving it and making sure that we can still enjoy the places that we love several years down the road past now. So I always like to emphasize, the importance of, leave no trace principles, the importance of conserving resources like water, plastic, paper, that kind of deal on my trips, and really promoting, why I love the outdoors, because of the environmental component, obviously. So out between ESA and SC Outfitters, I feel like I've been able to, have a role in some pretty important environmental and outdoors organizations on campus. And I hope that, I really think that these organizations, as well as other organizations on campus that have been a part of, really do a good job in promoting environmentalism and promoting sustainability on campus and also throughout the rest of the world.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was going to contextualize for anyone listening. Tad is like the first person I think of when I think of, like, I don't know, the environmental clubs on campus. Actually, Tad and some of the other people who are guides for SC Outfitters are working in somewhere around Colorado with me this summer, so I had the chance to go on a camping trip with them, and that was good. I'll plug the club. Like, they're fantastic.
We saw picos, we saw marmots, we saw elk like right by our campsite. We saw, what else did we see? We saw so many cool animals, so many cool birds. Yeah, we got a little bit of everything that trip. But yeah, it was a really fun time.
Awesome. Well, I guess, have you done, okay, so other Colorado things. This is my personal questions. So you said 10 14ers was your goal?
Yeah, I know it's a little bit lofty, but once my internship ends in mid-August, I'll have about 2 weeks here in Colorado, pretty much free to do whatever. So not say I want to do a 14er a day, because that's going to burn me out, but really trying, get as many as I can while I'm still here for the summer, and then go from there. But yeah, in case people didn't know, there's 53 or 55, one of those. There's either 53 or 55 14ers in Colorado, and a lot of people have the goal of doing all of them, by the time they die. So when I came to Colorado this summer, that was definitely a goal of mine, to do as many as I can, and then hopefully, if I come back to Colorado full time, if I come and live here for a few years, hopefully to do them all. So I've done 3 so far. Did 2 this past weekend with a good friend of mine. It's hard. All of them are hard, but all of them are so worth it when you make it to the top and can look down at the beautiful views and how beautiful the state Colorado is. So yeah, 10's the goal. I'll keep you posted. I'm doing another one this weekend and then another one the weekend after, so that'll get me to 5. But we'll see if I can get to 10. That's
crazy. And for those of you listening who are like me, approximately, I don't know, a month and a half ago before I moved to Colorado, I was like, what's a 14er? It's just a mountain that's over 14,000 feet in elevation, correct?
Yes.
So Tad's like, I want to climb 10 mountains this summer, is what Tad is saying.
10 tall mountains. They had to be at least 14. Mountains. There's a lot of mountains that are 12,000, 13,000 feet, which are all really cool. But the ones that are 14,000 feet are the big ones, and what Colorado is known for, because there's so many here. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's a big goal I've set for myself.
So aside from living in Colorado, climbing mountains, going camping, having a great time, what has your internship looked like? And is it more like civil, environmental, kind of in between the two? So what are you doing this summer?
Sure. Yeah. So like I said previously, I'm doing a water and wastewater infrastructure internship with Kimley Horn. And yeah, I would say it's a very good balance between what I learned in my civil engineering studies, and also what I learned and what I will continue to learn in my environmental engineering studies. I design a lot of like piping systems for housing communities. I help with designing water tanks. My team puts me on a variety of different projects, which is really cool. So we have projects such as, like I said, water tanks, housing communities. My favorite one actually that I've worked on is a state park in Colorado called Fisher's Peak State Park. So I've been able to do a lot of exhibits about leach fields, how we can route water from the nearest town or near water sources to the visitor center of the park, how we can supply water to the campsites and the campgrounds in the state park. So that's been really cool. And yeah, it's a really cool internship because I get to work on such a variety of projects and do a variety of different things, from looking at, research, making drawings and exhibits, depicting, pressure zones, depicting potential leach field or campground sites, water sourcing, water flow, piping, you name it. Like, there's a lot of cool things. And today, actually, on my internship, I did a site visit to a creek about 10 miles north of downtown Colorado Springs. And me and the environmental team that went, we were able to do a lot of soil and plant surveying. So we dug some holes in the dirt by the creek. We did a little soil profile. We identified some plants near the creek. We looked at what kind of ecosystem the creek had, and that kind of deal. So yeah, I've been able to really get a good glimpse of both, the civil side, where we're designing piping systems, water systems, that kind of deal, but also the environmental side, where we actually get to go out to the site. We get to go out to really cool job sites and do field work about soils, plants, water quality, that kind of deal. So yeah, I really enjoy my internship so far. I think it's a really good balance between both my passions in civil engineering and environmental engineering. Really having a good time.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree. I love hearing about what you do. I think there's there's so many different things that civil engineers do. I know, listening to who just graduated, Natalie, who was on podcast previously, Natalie doing more construction or structural things. You can definitely do a lot with it.
Yeah, I think people should realize that civil engineering and environmental engineering is such a broad field. Like, if you look at, buildings, roads, vehicles, transportation, all of that has something to do with civil engineering, or a civil engineering company, or a civil engineer who's designed that kind of stuff. And then when you look at the environmental side, water quality, air quality, renewable energy, that's all part of the design of environmental engineers. So it's pretty cool that, a lot of things, you just look around in your world, in a city, in a town around USC, a civil or environmental engineer had to have designed that building or that water system, or that, or designing the air quality, or figuring out the air quality implications of a building. So it's pretty cool stuff, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. No, I would agree. So I don't know, since it's so broad, do you have any idea, what would be your dream job? Other than being a park ranger? I feel like that's some people's answer.
Yeah, no, you read my mind. I always tell people, if I didn't need to use my degree, or, I could do anything I wanted, I want to be a park ranger for Glacier National Park in Montana, or a photographer for the National Park Service that can travel around and take photos of the beautiful places in our country. But yeah, in terms of civil and environmental engineering, the baseline is that I really want to do something where I'm designing a sustainable solution for the future. I'm designing something where I can help improve water quality in a town or city. I can help to improve resource efficiency, whether it's saving energy, saving water, improving the air quality of something. So I'd say my dream job definitely lies within probably the renewable energy sector, just because, there's so much potential there. There's so much that we can do as environmental engineers, as a country, that we can do to promote renewable energy, whether it's in a house, whether it's run by cities, whether it's through electric or low fuel or fuel efficient vehicles. It's such a broad field, but such a booming field, that the possibilities are endless there. And, as an environmental engineering student, I've seen through both my internship and both my classes that, there's so many cool technologies that I hope that people can learn more about and appreciate, that do help to, reduce water flow and to reduce water consumption in houses, or to reduce, to improve the air quality of cities, to improve, the fuel efficiency of vehicles, that kind of deal. So anything that has to do with sustainability in the realm of, reducing helping with resource efficiency or reducing energy inputs is something that I find really interesting.
Mhm. Exciting. Well, I like hearing you talk about it as well. Have you ever heard of Mark Albertin's RIT 340, so writing 340 class?
Yes, I think we talked about this on Rocky Mountain. I took
Yeah.
Professor Albertin's class, and so did you. And
Mhm.
yeah, I really love the class. Professor Albertin is a great professor, really nice guy. Highly recommend taking his class if you need to take RIT 340 in the coming years at USC. He's a great professor that has a very, very cool emphasis on sustainability in his engineering RIT class.
Mhm.
So we do a group project in our class, and basically you and your group design a solution for the Wrigley Institute for Environmental Studies on Catalina Island, to help preserve or to help use their rainwater or wastewater more efficiently. So my group did the wastewater track, and we helped to look into different ways for how to improve wastewater efficiency, how to route the piping better, how to move the wastewater treatment plant to a different location to improve the efficiency of the pipes and the energy that's required to pump water up to the wastewater treatment plant. It's a really cool project, and that whole class as a whole has some really interesting prompts that you have for your papers, and it's a really fun class.
Mhm.
It made me it improved my love for writing for sure. To write about
Mhm.
topics in engineering that I find really interesting, and to write about topics, not just in engineering, but topics just in my personal life that I love. So not just like environmental stuff, but I wrote a paper about climbing. I wrote a paper about sustainable agriculture in that class. It's a really cool class. I highly recommend taking.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. When I took that class with Professor Albertin, that was like my first time, I think, really doing an in-depth project and in-depth research about sustainability. So I have like a very high level understanding of everything that you talk about with like wastewater
Mhm.
treatment and stuff. But yeah, totally recommend that class. For context, for those of you listening, writing 340 is the advanced writing, and Professor Albertin teaches the writing for engineers section. So one of them, so you can choose from a variety of professors. Each one is a little different in how they teach the class. But yeah, we both strongly recommend Professor Albertin. It was a
Mhm.
great class. Well, in all of your experience, like starting to wrap up, do you have any advice for people who might be in a similar position as you were freshman year, like where you're interested in the environment, interested in engineering, but kind of uncertain as to how you want that to look at USC?
Yeah, so I would say one thing that I found that was successful for me was I just got to know my professors pretty well, and got to know, what they did, what they were passionate about, and how they how they could help me find my interests in civil and environmental engineering. So one professor I always love to shout out is Dr. Kelly Sanders. She was my intro to environmental engineering professor my freshman year, and she's been really great at helping me figure out my passions in environmental engineering and the different career paths that can open up due to my passions. So um, I just really recommend talking with your professors after class or seeing them in office hours and just asking them, what they do, what their background is. Every professor, at least in my experience in civil engineering, has a really different background. Some of them worked in industry for a few years. Some of them went straight to academia and started researching something that they were really passionate about and they found really interesting during their undergrad. Some of them were from a different field at first and then transitioned towards a more niche role or a niche subject or field of study in civil and environmental engineering. So just getting to know people in the industry and your professors that have a lot of experience in the industry and have a lot of experience teaching and working with students is a really good way to figure out what your passions are and what career paths can open due to those passions. And another piece of advice I definitely have is get as much on field, get as much at work experience as you can, whether it's through internship, whether it's through a co-op, really any of those. I've learned so much through my two internships in the civil environmental engineering industry. Some learned a lot of stuff that I didn't learn in my classes at all. So yeah, it's a really good supplement to what you're learning in, to get your degree at USC, just learning what people work on in the field, what people who have been in the industry for several years do so well and can teach you about. The combination of having, work experience, field experience, along with your classes, and knowing what your professors do and what they are experts in, is really good in helping to figure out what your passions are and what you can do with your degree, I'd say. So yeah, that's my piece of advice from a now master's student, I guess. So now USC
an alumni.
USC
and Viterbi alum and Viterbi student, both at once.
Yep, all at the same.
Yeah, I really agree with both sentiments. I think it's, as a freshman, it can be so overwhelming when you first start school. Like, there are so many different things to do. And I don't know, if you're like I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I would be happy in any of these majors or in these different areas. So I really do agree with you, like talking with people, particularly professors, and getting experience doing what you at least think you want to do. I think that's really valuable to, I don't know, understanding if you actually want to do that.
Yeah, and also I'd like to add that you also can learn about what you don't like to do through your classes and through work or internships. So, for example, in civil engineering, a big part of civil engineering is construction and construction management. And after an internship in construction management, I realized that I didn't really like it that much. I learned a lot. I had a great time on my internship, but I also realized that this is not a career that I wanted to do for several years after I graduated. So, it's just as important to learn what you don't want to do as well as what you want to do, to really eliminate that speculation. Focus on what you love, know what you don't love, but you can still learn a lot from, and then move on from there. So yeah, I think it's there's both sides of a coin right there.
Yeah, college is a very important time to learn both things. It's like a very big trial period for what you want to do in a career or in your life. You get to try different things, talk to different people, and then at the end, we sometimes have it figured out, sometimes not, but at least we know more than we did when we were freshmen or starting out.
Totally, yeah. And also, like, remember the ISE 460 class we took together, Maya?
Yes, for everyone. That's engineering economy.
Yep. I'll be honest. I kind of struggled in that class because I don't have an industrial engineering background. I couldn't really think through the mindset of an industrial engineer. However, obviously you did much better than me, and you're in industrial engineering. So that also says a lot about, you can take classes at USC and also realize what you don't like, but things that are still important to know. I still learned a lot of really important things in that class, but I also learned that I definitely don't have a future in industrial engineering. So I give you a lot of credit for helping me get through that class. So
of course, the class was very entertaining. And it was at many times a struggle for me as well. And that's another fun thing. It's like getting to take classes with people in different majors at Viterbi. I know engineering economy, like all the civil engineers, I think environmental, and then also industrial engineers all have to take that. So it's a fun time where we get to meet each other, mingle a little bit, have some interdisciplinary groups. Like I really wish you were in my group for the wastewater project. we were all like industrial engineering majors or computer scientists, and there definitely was a learning curve.
Yeah, and I wish you were in my group for the group project we had for ISE 460, where we really had to like pretend we were a 3D printing company, because I know nothing about 3D printing. I know nothing about business. So would have been nice to have an industrial engineer who knew both about technology and knew about the business side of engineering in my group. But you know what? I passed that class. I'm happy with my grade, and that's all you need to know. So
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on here, Tad. Do you have any other things you want to talk about, mention, any last pieces of advice?
No, I don't think so. I think I've already used up enough of my time. But yeah, thanks so much again, Maya, for having me. Just I can't stress enough. Just enjoy your time at USC. Do fun things. Try things you've never done before. Get involved on campus. Meet new people, make new friends. But also, take your classes seriously. Build good relationships with your professors, and get as much on-site, on-job internship experience as possible to know what you want to do with your engineering career. So yeah, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate you inviting me, and hopefully I was able to give somebody a good piece of advice today.
No, absolutely.
And climb 14ers. And climb 14ers and come to Colorado.
Climb 14ers. Yeah, stay tuned for, I think, so we'll film like an intro and an outro. I will with Paul after. So I'll update everyone on your 14er, how it went.
Okay. Sounds
your
good.
account.
I will keep you updated.
Awesome. Thank you, Tad.
Thanks, Maya.
Awesome, and welcome back, everybody. I just love inviting people onto the podcast, particularly people that I'm friends with already. It's like it's like a job that I get to talk with my friends and hear about the cool things that they're doing. I know, yeah, Tad. One thing that he talked about was his journey this summer to climb. I can't remember how many, but like multiple 14ers. Do you know what a 14er is, Paul?
No, I was going to ask you.
It's oh gosh, so Tad definitely explained this better than I will, but this is something I've learned in living in Colorado this summer. But it's a mountain that is higher than 14,000 feet in elevation. So you say you climb a 14er, and like it can be a variety of like what the actual elevation gain on your hike is or where you start, but the idea is that you stop above 14,000 feet, which is pretty crazy.
So I just, while you're talking, I just looked it up. 14er mountains over 14,000 feet. And the Colorado 14ers is a big list. There's a lot that are out there. And this is pretty crazy. So how long does it take to get up a 14er?
Gosh, so I know a lot of the interns I worked with this summer actually climbed or hiked up a bunch of 14ers. Depends, but normally they start at like 2 in the morning, like very, very early in the morning. So it'll take, I think, probably around like 8 hours is probably the average of what I heard from people. And the idea is that you want to be off the mountain before afternoon storms can roll in. So yeah, it's a very like intense ordeal.
Wow. Well, that is really cool. Not for me, but very, very cool for everyone who wants to do this. You've yet to pursue this?
Yeah, unfortunately, I did not have the chance to do it this summer. Some of the weekends I was traveling, so going to states other than Colorado, and it just it shook out like it was either I did it the weekend my parents were here, or I didn't get to do it, and they vetoed that very quickly. Got
it. Well, hopefully you'll have a chance at some point to get out there and do your list of 14ers. And thank you for bringing Tad to the show. We will wrap this up and get out of everybody's ears, and we will be back next week with a whole new episode of Viterbi Voices, and we will see you then. Bye, everybody.